Take advantage of these tips to making Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom more magical and less stressful. Thank you for watching More Magic, Less Stress. We are all about helping families make the most of their Disney trips. We're learning as we go and sharing what actually works for real families. I'm Tanner.
And I'm Emily.
Let's dive in. Okay, so we've done this once before, but this is how it works. I'm going to say the thing to know, and Emily over here is going to share her great wisdom with all of us that we've learned. All right, here we go. 10 things to know before visiting Magic Kingdom. Number 1, the park opens before rope drop, right?
Rope drop is the time that the park officially opens and they allow people to get onto the rides. That varies each day and by each park. But Magic Kingdom is a little different in that, so let's say the park opens to the public at 9 a.m. Well, early entry for on-site guests, they get an extra 30 minutes in the park, so that begins at 8:30 a.m. But Magic Kingdom opens to everyone, on-site and off-site guests, usually around an hour before normal park opening. So usually around 8 a.m. they allow all people onto Main Street area of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, just Main Street. Yeah.
Just Main Street. Main Street. They do allow on-site guests to go line up at the ride they want to rope drop, but you have to scan in so that they know you're staying on-site. Off-site guests have to stay on Main Street, but even if you can't get into the rides yet, that's a great time to take castle photos before the sun gets blaring hot and bright, do a little shopping, just get the feel for the park and the atmosphere.
So, and that moves into tip number 2. So only Fantasyland and Tomorrowland are open for early entry. So if you're an on-property guest, and so that 30 minutes before you get through the rope.
Yeah, so they actually just recently changed the rope drop process for on-site guests. Used to, you lined up literally at a rope and they dropped it at the early entry time. Now, as an on-site guest at that early entry time, you just scan in with a cast member and you go line up for whatever ride you want to ride first, and at early entry time, they will start running the ride. Sometimes it's actually a little earlier.
But at Magic Kingdom, it's only Fantasyland and Tomorrowland.
Yes. In each park, there's only specific rides that are open for early entry. At Magic Kingdom, that's Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, with the exception of Tron in Tomorrowland. Even though Tron is located in Tomorrowland, it is not currently open for early entry.
And these tips are heavy on the start of your day here at Magic Kingdom, because number 3 continues that conversation. It says there are a lot of options to do at rope drop. Options as in strategies, approaches. Totally depends on your family.
Correct. Yeah, so a lot of people's first question is, where do I go first? What ride do I rope drop? What's the best option? And that answer is really just totally dependent upon your family, your priorities for the day. If you have small children who aren't into the larger rides, then you can prioritize the smaller things and knock out a ton of rides in that early entry part of the day. If you do have older kids or all adults who want to ride the bigger coasters and things, you have the option of purchasing the individual lightning lanes, and then you rope drop some other options since you've already purchased the individual lightning lanes. Probably the most popular strategy is to purchase one of the individual lightning lanes, usually Tron, since it's not available during early entry, and then rope dropping Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So really, your best strategy for morning time at Magic Kingdom can just totally vary based on your family and your priorities for the day.
Yeah. So, all right, these first 3 are beginning of the day. Let's get into just the park itself. So number 4, this has the most things for families to do together, I guess, park-wide. Yeah.
park-wide, and then also the rides. There's a lot of rides that even babies and toddlers can ride. I remember when our kids were younger, that was one of my favorite seasons of life was when everyone could ride all the same rides. We didn't have to split
And
up.
grandparents.
Yeah, and grandparents. There's things like Dumbo, Peter Pan, those little things that, like, babies can ride if you hold them. So it just makes for a really sweet day doing things together, not having to split up.
Yeah. So number 5, this is potentially the busiest park. And I guess by that I mean the most populated park. You corrected me on this earlier when we were talking through it.
Well, I think, yeah, can be the most populated park because it is it's where the castle is. So people, like you mentioned, doing one day at Disney, most likely they're gonna be at Magic Kingdom. However, since it does have the most number of rides and the majority of those rides can be done by everyone, it does help spread the wait times out. So even though it is the most populated park, probably on any given day, obviously not every day, um, the wait times tend to not be as long as some of the other parks because there's so many ride options.
And as you're navigating your day, point number 6 will help you. Peter Pan and Winnie the Pooh usually have long lines, believe it or not, right? Like if you think it's going to be a quick line to wait in, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, we think these rides that, like, anybody can ride, including babies and toddlers, you think, "Oh, like, there's not gonna be a long wait for those." For a while now, Peter Pan has been one of the longer wait times. It's actually a popular rope drop option for families with young kids if they, end up buying the individual lightning lanes, they rope drop Peter Pan. And then lately, really, I've just noticed it in the last, like, 6 months, maybe a year, Winnie the Pooh lines have gotten to be long, and then it's one of the rides that sells out the fastest for lightning lanes, and I really do not understand why. It's just a fact. Still can't figure I mean, I can see Peter
Right.
Pan, like, Peter Pan's pretty cute. It actually has a really cute line area, queue area. Um And it's in the nostalgia of it. Winnie the Pooh, I don't get. I
We
don't
got stuck in the rain one time in that line. That was
Yes,
not fun. That took
it
forever.
was flooding, the line area was flooding, there was
Uh,
puddles everywhere, it was
all right.
terrible.
So number 7 is kind of big. I don't know how you want to summarize this, but it's plan spots for parades and fireworks. But with both of those, you need to check the times, as you plan your day.
Right, so every day, parade times and fireworks times for Magic Kingdom can change based on, the time of year it is, the season, park times. And so I always tell clients, like, make sure you check the app the day of. It will give you the most up to date timing of the parades for that day and the fireworks. As far as spots go, there's several strategies for that. But it is very helpful to know the parade route ahead of time so you know where to sit to see the parade. I always suggest to people if you find a spot that you think you want to sit down and wait for a parade or fireworks, I would ask a cast member just to confirm because right before those events, they will tape off areas. And so, like, if you're sitting there an hour in advance, you think you have a great spot and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes before time, a cast member tells you you have to move because that's a walkway and it's not somewhere you can sit. Like, there's nothing worse than that.
Mm.
So, um, be mindful and prepared for the times of those each day, the route of the parades, and then also check with a cast member before you plop yourself down and wait for something.
And just FYI, for the fireworks, you usually tell people like an hour before, right?
Yeah,
Find your spot.
depending on where you want. If you want right in front of the castle, perfect views, I would say an hour before. And it gets cutthroat. Like, you spread your stuff out, because no doubt people are going to close in on you as it gets closer to time. So yeah.
We could do a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
All right, number 8, make note of the seasonal parties. What do you mean by that?
So kind of along the lines of fireworks and stuff. So at Magic Kingdom hosts seasonal parties like the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party. Those things are extra ticketed events, so your typical ticket to Magic Kingdom does not include admission to those events. And during the holiday seasons, pretty much starting in August, from August through December, there will be a party 3 to 4 times a week at Magic Kingdom. And if you do not have a ticket to that party, you will get kicked out of the park at 6 p.m. And there are no normal fireworks, which means no normal nighttime parade. And I have seen a lot of people get into Magic Kingdom and have no idea that they're going to get kicked out for the day, early that day, and not get to experience the fireworks in the parade. Mm-hmm. So, if you were visiting anytime between August and December, check the calendar and make sure there's no party happening that night.
That's right. All right, number 9. This is magical right here. Mickey Churro waffles at Crystal Palace.
Okay, so if you've never had a Mickey Churro waffle, you don't understand the importance of this. But there are, until recently, Crystal Palace at Magic Kingdom was the only place on Walt Disney World property that you could get a Mickey Churro waffle. However, recently they have added a location at Caribbean Beach, but Crystal Palace is still the only in the park option that you can find a Mickey Churro waffle, and it is life-changing.
And an extra tip to that is schedule your meal there between breakfast and lunch, right before the end of breakfast.
Like the very last, one of the last breakfast reservations.
You get your churro waffle, and then you get lunch also after that, like double up on the buffet.
Yeah.
It's magical. All right, last one. Some people don't realize this, but there are multiple steps to parking at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of times, most parks, you drive up to the parking area and you park, and then you just go to the front gate, but not in Magic Kingdom.
No, so the Magic Kingdom parking lot is actually across the lake from Magic Kingdom. So if you are driving your car, which will mostly pertain to off-site people, but also some on-site people still prefer to drive their own vehicle. So you park in the parking lot, all seems normal, but then you catch a tram to the front of the parking lot and you are at the Ticket and Transportation Center. From there, you have to either catch a boat across the lake or ride the monorail to the actual entrance of the park. So it takes close to an hour, typically, from the time you enter the parking lot until you enter the gates of Magic Kingdom. So if you're not prepared for that, then it can ruin your whole morning.
That's right. I think we could have many more points here, but that top 10 list is pretty good for there. So thank you for watching More Magic, Less Stress. We hope these tips help protect those magic moments, right? When you find your little space for the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. So if you're planning a Disney trip, consider subscribing to our channel because we'll be sharing more things we've learned from our trips along the way, the good and the mistakes. We got to share it. Also, check out the links in the description for helpful things we often use in the parks. These are cool little things you can order for your family. that we use in our park trips, and they're always in our park bags. But thanks for watching. More magic, less stress.